Today we are deep diving into my weekly planning routine, from closing out the previous week to navigating the swirls of mental load. Today we're going to bear it all, so let's jump in. Hi friends, and welcome back to Lost Without a Plan. I'm Amanda Lynn, and I share tips, tricks, and all things planning right here on my channels. I'm so glad you're here. Let's talk weekly planning. It's been a little while since I've shared a full weekly plan with me here, but I still want to talk you through the whole process. So I'm recording this plan with me a little ahead of time to give you a real look at how my weekly planning sessions actually happen. I know a lot of people like to plan on Sundays, but that's not always consistent for me. So I usually plan on Thursday or Friday. Today is Friday, and I want to remind you that this is your planning routine. You get to make the rules, find the day that works for you, and build your plan from there. Okay, so on weeks like these, where my brain feels like it's going in 100 different directions, the first step is always to capture the chaos. I need everything out of my head and onto paper before I can think about planning. Today, I'm going to use the Chaos to Categories notepad from Laurel Denise. This one already has sections laid out for me. Once everything is down, I'm going to go through and sort it again in a way that actually helps me move forward. Most of this stuff will probably need to get done this week, but if anything can be moved on to next week, I'll make sure to note that. Because my brain really responds to color though, I'm going to go back in with my makselife markers and add color coding by life category. It might seem like an extra step, but this is where things start to feel manageable again. Everything has its place, and I can actually see what matters right now instead of feeling overwhelmed by all of it. If your brain feels especially full, this is exactly where my Clarity Compass comes in. It follows the same flow, just broken down into steps, so that you're not trying to figure it out on the fly. You'll start with a brain dump, then sort it into a way that makes sense to you. You can pull out your important tasks and finally build your week from there. It's a really simple way to move from overwhelmed to organized without overthinking the process. From there, I'll move into a quick check-in and reflection. Before I plan anything new, I want to see what actually happened last week. I look at what got done, what worked well, and maybe what didn't go the way I expected. And this is important. I take a minute to really acknowledge the wins. There's almost always more than we give ourselves credit for, especially when we're not intentionally looking for them. Then I look at what didn't work, not to judge it, but to understand it. Life happens, things shift. And if something threw off your plans, there's usually a reason behind it. That awareness helps you adjust moving forward instead of feeling like you failed. Next, I'll check in with my goals and I'll figure out what comes next. Most of my goals are carryovers that I originally mapped out at the beginning of the year. I break them down really small into manageable steps. For example, when I was looking into my reading goals and my kitchen declutter, I didn't try to tackle the whole thing at once. I broke it down into each cabinet, each drawer, each shelf, and I estimated how long each section might take. Some areas got more time because I know that they tend to get out of control, but instead of setting aside an entire day, I worked on it in short 15-minute blocks a few times a week. That may not feel like a lot in the moment, but those baby steps added up real quickly. This is how progress builds in real life. These pages here are part of my Momentum Made Simple goal setting course. And right now, Momentum Made Simple is a half-year old, so I wanted to celebrate with the sale. I'll have it linked down below if you want to check it out. So all of these things need to get done this week, but I'm gonna make sure that I put car wash and errands because I'm going to batch that and do them all at the same time. I need to schedule my appointments, see if I can get some more Pilates in this week. I need to do my returns and put that in finance because you get charged if you don't do those things. And then we need to do this GS prep. Skillshare, I just wanted to go through my modules and check my supplies. So if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to be mad at myself about it, but definitely need to finish the web upload. That is required by Monday, and then I need to get the ads out. I need to get her the basketball shoes because her feet have grown again, and we need to find basketball shoes that fit her but also support her so that she doesn't hurt her knee like she did last time. When I have time for this, I Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do, but I will stick my stickers in here so that I can have it ready for reflection next week. These right here are just from Planner Kate. I cut off the number. There we go. Now that is ready. Before I jump into laying everything out, I like to give myself a little brain break. After doing all of that thinking and sorting, this is a little reward moment in time. So it's sticker time. Today I'm going to use a Van Gogh themed sheet from Coffee Monsters Co. And I'm pairing it with some Starry Night washi that I had in my stash. It's been there for years and I don't know where it comes from, and you'll see that the writing on the inside is in a different language. So I have no idea. I probably picked it up from a table at a conference or something. But it doesn't really matter where they came from. It feels like a perfect match, so we're going to use it today. And fun fact, I actually visited the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, and the texture on those paintings is unreal. There's so much paint on the canvas, it almost doesn't make sense. It's like this thick canvas paint. It's pretty wild. I'd love to know, who is your favorite artist? Drop it down in the comments or drop a sunflower emoji so that I can say hi. Now we can get into the actual planning. I always start to look at my calendar and pull anything that cannot be moved, like appointments, meetings, or family commitments. I keep those things on my monthly spread so I'm not flipping in multiple places. It just makes things easier to stay consistent and actually use it. The week that we're planning today, that happened a little bit ago, of course, is from 11th through the 17th. So we have our Plum Customer Appreciation Sale ends on Monday. We have a Laurel Denise launch on Wednesday. We have a birthday here on the 14th. It looks like it's Nana's birthday. We have payday, and we have the Girl Scouts at the LA Fair, and this added bonus of a graduation party. So I'm going to put both of those on our calendar this week. Next, I add in my weekly to-do list. These are the things that happen pretty much every week, like clockwork. We have meal planning, grocery pickup, filming, editing, and my weekly home resets. These tasks act as anchors for the week. They give me structure before I start filling in anything else. Once those are in, I look for the open space in my week. That's where I start placing the goal-related tasks. This is where those smaller 15-minute steps come back in. Instead of trying to do everything at once, I'm just asking myself, what small action can I take today? And that makes it feel doable, even on the busiest days. I also make sure to leave room for flexibility. Like, I'll batch my errands together, so if I'm already going out for groceries, I'll plan to handle my Amazon returns that day, or stop by the library to return books. All of those things can be done at the same time, so I'm only leaving the house once, but getting it all done while I'm out and about. I also build in a little bit of buffer for things like content work, just in case something takes longer than expected. Having a little space already planned in makes things much easier to keep up moving forward, instead of constantly feeling behind. Finally, I set up my habit tracker for the week. I usually include things like movement, vitamins, and routines here, but I do adjust it depending upon what I'm focusing on that week. Some habits eventually become second nature and no longer need to be tracked, which is actually the goal. This month, I'm tracking my food to help manage my food allergy, so that's something I've added into my routine for now. You'll see that I have AM and PM routines here too, and the reason why I'm still tracking it so long after the fact is because I add and subtract items from my routines every month. And that is a wrap on this weekly Plan With Me session. I know that it's a little more in depth than the decorate and go style that you're used to, but this is a bit of behind the scenes that really supports those bigger goals. Thank you so much for planning with me today. I do post planning videos here every week, so if you enjoyed this one, you'll probably enjoy those too. Go ahead and hit subscribe, and I'll see you then. Happy planning!